G'day world, Macaridden coming to you live from the garage at Myriad 2018. And thanks to our content partners Everledger and Invest Sunshine Coast. We're here with James. How are you doing today?
Very well, Macca, thank you.
Yeah, so give us a bit of rundown on what Modular Farms is.
Yeah, we're an indoor vertical hydroponic system. We build purpose-built container farms, allowing you to be able to grow food anywhere in the world in any climate.
Sounds pretty awesome, and we were talking off camera before, it's all natural using recycled material?
Yep, so the actual vertical tails we grow our food in is made out of recycled materials, but we also use a nutrient solution and feed the plants all the required nutrients through that system. So we don't use any pesticides or any chemicals in this system.
Okay, well tell us a little bit about your story and how you got started with Modular Farms.
Yeah, look, I was a third generation farmer, a traditional farmland, broadacre farmer. Went into the finance sector for a little while and then decided that the farming techniques of the last 100 years were not going to be sustainable for the next 100 years, and got involved with ag tech. So I decided to investigate what was happening around the world and came across the idea of factory farming and hydroponics, and decided that this would be a great way to future-proof the food supply chain in the next 100 years.
Crazy. And you're a global company?
Yep. So yeah, we're based over in Toronto as well. We obviously have an operation building farms over there, and we're also based here in Brisbane, Australia. Great stuff.
And what's the process of building your team? Like, what type of people do you have working in Modular Farms?
Yeah, well, we have an array of people. We've got people that manufacture our farms, so we actually put the farms together in our own factory. We also have an engineer, a plant biologist. So we're constantly doing lots of experiments around the different types of crops that we can grow in the farm, which is things like dwarf pumpkins, strawberries. At the moment, we're doing a trial of quinoa. Which is pretty cool. So yeah, we're just testing the system to its full extent.
Amazing stuff. And I watched a TED Talk a while back that really inspired me. And you can control the environment of what you're growing your food. And like we were talking off camera before, you can actually create a tomato that is grown in Mexico, but you're in Australia eating a tomato that's meant to be grown in Mexico.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got a bit of time on your hands, you can definitely replicate the environment. You can definitely adjust your nutrient solutions so you're providing the plant what it received back in Mexico in your farm. There's obviously that option if you want to go to that extent.
So if we had the time, could I create passion fruit from Hawaii and grow it here in Australia?
Well, passion fruit being in a vine would probably be a bit difficult in our system.
So it doesn't grow vertically?
Well, I mean, we can grow vine crops like dwarf pumpkins, but I guess it all depends on the feasibility of being able to grow passion fruit. Yeah. But absolutely, if you're keen to grow passion fruit indoors, you can definitely try it.
Okay, and so is there only a certain range of types of crops that you can create?
Yeah, so at the moment it's predominantly leafy greens and herbs that the farm will produce you. We do things like strawberries. Again, things that require pollination have to be done by hand because of the closed loop system. We recycle all our air. We recapture the majority of the water that we need in the farm, so we don't have any beneficial insects inside the farm.
Okay, fair enough. And from your background as a farmer, what some of the learnings have you applied from that industry to this sort of techie side of things?
Just hard work from building the business.
But
what we've learned is that the narrative around supply chain and provenance of food is growing greatly in Australia. So we feel that the idea between paddock to plate is very real, and people want to know where their food has been grown, whether it was used chemicals or no chemicals, and who's actually growing it. And we're real big believers around microeconomies and developing farming businesses in places where farms may not exist at all.
Yeah. So could you set one up in the desert, for example?
Absolutely. So long as you've got access to power and water, you'll be able to set one up. We're actually currently R&Ding an off-grid solution for our farm. So once we've achieved that, you'll be able to put it in the middle of the desert and quite easily facilitate growing there.
And what type of size and how could someone get their hands on that?
Yeah, so the container itself is purpose built. It's a 12 metre container. We're 3 metres in width and 3 metres in height. The reason we built a purpose built container is all around plant health and uniformity, and it allows the plants to achieve the type of yields that we achieve out of the system.
Great stuff. And do you have any examples that we could see?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a tray here. This is some red Russian kale that we've grown from seed. Yep. So we propagate all our seeds in the farm, yep. And then we transplant those into the vertical towers. So a turnaround time for a kale could be around 6 to 7 weeks before you harvest.
Oh, awesome stuff. And you've got a whole range of crops here today?
Yeah, we've got a few little things. We've got some lettuce growing there as well, and we're also doing some microgreens. So a large portion of the business it also allows you to do microgreens and fresh herbs.
Amazing stuff, man. Well, thanks for joining us. It all looks pretty whiz-bang, and look forward to seeing you in the future.
Likewise. Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.